What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Kemp with Label Free Podcast. Live your best life. You must live label free. I'm super excited. We have a very, very cool guest. She is the Chief Creative Officer, expert coach with the Handel Group, and she's also done some blogging for the Huffington Post. Please welcome Marnie Nir. Did I say that correctly?
You did. Awesome. It's a rarity.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm good at names. So, Marnie, thank you for joining us today. Can you please introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about your background?
Sure. So I've been working. My maiden name is Handel. So this is my family's coaching executive life coaching company. I am the middle sister of. There's 4 kids, but I have claimed middle, good or bad.
Okay.
So that's me, right? Started coaching with my baby sister, Lauren. And for some reason, I must call her my baby sister. I need to qualify that. But she's the creator of the entire Handel method, which she developed at MIT and NYU and Columbia.
Oh, wow.
And maybe it's 20 years ago, maybe a little less. I let her started coaching me because I was at the time at-home mom, quit my job as a publicist, and was really quickly turning into my own mother, rapidly. We all know that happens, but it was rapid and unattractive. Right? God love her. Yeah. And so then I was wow, I'm not that happy doing this. This is the hardest pro bono gig ever, and I'm sucking at it. Mostly because I'm not that happy, but I also don't want to go back to work. So what the heck do I want to go do? What do I do now? So finally I acquiesced and let my sister coach me. And with a promise of, should she have me living my dreams, I had to pay back. Right. So I would have to teach others everything she taught me.
Okay.
So I signed that deal, probably a little sarcastically, thinking, good luck with me. Right. And truly, she had me living my dreams. I didn't even all of a sudden I declared I was a writer. I really wanted to write. I knew I always liked it. Back when I was 10, I was writing plays with my best friend, Debbie Landau. But I haven't been doing that.
Okay.
So she really had me start, just like we have our clients at Handel do, is what do you want to do? Start dreaming. What's your dream career? Not what you don't want to do. What do you want to do? And get us dreaming and getting honest about that. And I ended up starting a motherhood column, turning it into an animated series, selling it to Hulu. Eva Longoria played me. So I in the best ways, I was living my dream and needed to now be a coach as well, because I promised if she had me have what I want, I could give back, and it's all good. So now I'm a life coach. I write everything for Handel. I co-wrote the book with my sister because it turns out it took us a little bit to figure it out that as a writer and now someone that she trained in her method, I could put it all together and do the writing and the content and the scripts and the books and interview our online course and go play.
I love it. So, okay. So many questions. Okay. That I'm going to have to go one at a time. So I know what it's like. I used to work with so I was married. My husband passed away 5 years ago. We worked together and it was challenging at times. And I had all my siblings had worked for me at one point for our business. Cause we did about, when he passed, we did about 20 million in sales. And then I had closed a contract prior, right before that was double the size of the company. But it was hard working with my husband. I mean, we had complement each other. We were the ultimate power couple, but then also my siblings, my sisters, that was really hard too, because, you have to make sure you have clear boundaries, because if you don't, that can get a little messy. So how do you guys all work together?
Well, we're pretty boundaryless.
Oh.
And then my husband, Sheer, is the CEO of Handel Group.
Oh my goodness. Oh, wow.
So it's it's totally a lot of us family members, right?
But that's good though. I feel like you all support each other, have the common goal.
Yes, we all love what we're doing. We all are you know, my husband jokes around that he's like married to the two, like he's married to all of us. He's got like 3 wives, right? And as you can imagine, or you'll be able to imagine soon, it's a handful or a mouthful because
Yeah, I bet.
we take up a lot of oxygen. We just love what we do, so it works out for family. I mean, it's not like we don't get into tiffs and, you know, loud ones.
Yeah.
But we're all committed to getting through them, right? There, the good news about it being family for us is there's no going anywhere.
Yeah.
Right? So that like shutting of that exit door, I mean, like truly, if I decided I just wanted to write for TV and that was my dream and not work for Handel Group, my sisters would support me.
Sure.
So we're all out for each other's dreams, and it's awesome that this is it.
Yeah.
At the moment, right? And supporting each other, and we believe in radical honesty, right? And transparency. So when I'm hating their fucking guts, they know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're gonna, because I'm not committed to it, right? But if all of a sudden something they said pissed me off, we're gonna go talk it through, right? I'm not allowed to not like them.
Right.
And I'm not allowed to keep thoughts in my head that are not liking them and don't tell them to get rid of them.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's important. Communication is very important in any type of relationship, especially in the business atmosphere when it's with family. Oh, I mean, oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know all about that. Okay, so I am a certified life coach. I never really pursued it too much because back when I went through the training and I got my certification, I ended up like just really focusing on our businesses. And but I learned a lot from going through that certification, that process, and it helped me become a better individual as far as how I communicated, be the leader that I was, and just I did like, you know, part of the training, obviously, I'm sure you know, is you have to like take people through the whole process of, you know, coaching them. And I'm loving that I talked to so many life coaches because I feel like this, like right now, especially everything that we went through last year, that it's very necessary. I mean, I think a lot of people lost their way. I mean, you got a little bit depressed, or, you know, just trying to, you know, and there's been this thing that's been called, I mean, I don't know, I'm sure you guys have heard it, that there's an awakening happening amongst people, and, you know, those that believe in that. And it's just like, and I personally do. And I see it with a lot of different individuals that I am in contact with, but I feel like there's such a market for life coaches these days that, and I just love talking to you guys because you all have a different style. You all have a different focus. So with that being said, you said you mentioned the method that you guys use, that your sister that developed. Can you tell us about that? What that's like?
Yeah. We take, so just like you said, like, yes, we take clients through the entire method. Okay. And I'll explain like the steps of it. And it's everything we've been through. So just like my sister was like, all right, if I get you happy, you have to go teach everything I just taught you and take you through the steps, like from 1 to, you know, Inner You, which is our like encompasses our entire method. Our online coaching course has about like 10 to 12 modules, right? So there's like 10 sessions.
Yeah.
When we take on a client, we really will take them through this. Obviously, sometimes you're like, oh, holy shit, we're going straight to here.
Yeah.
Triage has to happen here before I can even get you in module 1, which is dreaming. Right. So we take a client first thing out of the gate, unless there's a big issue going on, is get you dreaming in every area of your life. So not 1 or 2 where most of us play, like most of us, like, I want to get married, I want to lose weight, most of us dabble in 1 or 2 normally. Right. But, and we could live with it, like, because we really, as a species, really can compartmentalize. You're like, but I'm happy here, who gives a fuck about here? But we don't realize that over here leaks into here.
Absolutely. Totally.
Right. Yeah. So we have you dreaming in areas that you didn't even think you give a shit about. I was told I could curse. Am I okay?
Yeah, I curse too, so don't worry. You should have heard the shit I was saying yesterday after my cat attacked me. Oh my God, I started crying. I'm like, well, my cat just totally attacked me. Anyways, keep going. First off,
rock on. All right, thank you. All right, so dreaming in 12 areas, areas you haven't even, you know, haven't even thought about, right? So career, obviously, love, family, obviously, home, obviously, fun and adventure, right? Money, maybe, time, right? Like, so areas where you're not, community, service, right? Like what you give and get back.
Yeah.
So we have you go write up your dreams in all that.
Okay.
Okay, like really juicy dreams, and rate yourself. You're like, if that's your dream, where are you today?
Right.
And most of us are like 6s and 7s and 9s and 8s and all that. And then we have you write up in a separate paragraph why. Right? Why are you a 6? What's going on? Why can't you have what you want? And in there is an awesome amount of material for us to start playing with first. Because first you'll find out is that you suck at dreaming. Like the reason in the method and what makes some of it so fucking genius is you incriminate yourself because you don't know. The way you talk about your life, we're like slippery and everything sounds fine and okay, and you're not saying everything. But if I get you to go write your dream and why, I am now going to hear how mean you are to yourself.
Yeah.
How stingy you are to you. Right? Not necessarily to others, but to you, right? Like no one knows how to dream anymore, right? So again, if you gave your, 8-year-old, 6-year-old, 5-year-old, like, tell me your dream, it would be elaborate and prolific. And we suck as adults, right? We only let ourselves dream what we think we can have.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? We eye roll at our own dreams.
Okay? Or we just don't think that it's possible.
Yeah, right? You got hurt.
We give up on it. So we give up.
Yeah. Enough people said no. So that's the interesting part, all right? The first one where you incriminate yourself, we get you really tweaking your dreams so that they actually give you goosebumps and happy.
Yeah.
Okay, because I need you to give a shit in order to go do the work to forward those.
Okay.
Okay, so that's step 1, right? Step 2 is also starting to sniff out like your own fingerprints on your life's crime scene.
Right. Yeah.
Right? You a lot. Right? Because it really, I was like, Deanna, let me tell me where you succeeded in your life, where no matter what the odds were, right? And what the world told you, you said, fuck it, and you did it anyway.
Right.
Right? So it's not true you can't. So now let's get suspicious of why you think you can't over here now, right? Like I have clients who have fucking beaten cancer.
Yeah.
And now they're like, but they can't find love, right? Like, or they can't do like, so they climbed Mount Everest, but they can't, swipe right.
So do you? So I'm loving this, and I totally agree with this whole process. But do you guys believe in like the manifestation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So first we do dreaming because look, part of the practice really can be manifesting it into fruition, right? But I need you to first believe it so.
Right. Okay.
Right. In your why you rated yourself a 6 and all your reasons is my problem because you're in your own way, right? Like you're your biggest problem. And we think that's great news.
Yeah.
Because if it's not the world, it's not the economy, it's not the president, it's not the blah, 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 blah. It's not even the pandemic. Right? Like the pandemic is like a worldwide excuse, right? And legit, right?
Yeah.
Except you're like, whoa, did I just get to drink more?
Yeah.
Did I get to hate my mate more?
Yeah.
Right? You really could have fucked them more.
Yeah.
Like it was an option.
Yeah.
Right? But welcome to the species, right? Like we're not that generous. We're not that nice. We're gonna use excuses and blaming people and buy that shit.
Yeah, for sure.
So first we have to get you to go start catching a whiff of that.
Yeah.
Because we don't mind that human beings are a little dark and sleazy. We just have a problem that they're pretending they're not.
Dark and sleazy.
Right?
Oh, this is awesome.
Right? But stop pretending we're not and let's go deal. There'd be no light if there wasn't dark. Rock on both. Let's go deal.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the first couple modules where we get you dreaming, where we get you suspicious of that you're your own problem. We teach you a lot about inner dialogue and what's going on because most of us really don't distinguish between your thoughts and you, right? You think what's going on in there is God, wisdom, a coach, or something. So we need to separate that because what's going on in here, and we've named them goofy names so we could just distinguish them. Right?
We used to me and my sister used to when we saw we were not doing well in our head, because I'm sure how you are with your sisters, we'd be like, stop letting that little man talk shit to you in your head, tell him to shut the fuck up.
Exactly. Truly, right? We're like, so we've like named it Chicken, Brad, and Weather Reporter, right? So you're starting to like just have names for them, right? The chicken is the voice of fear, right? The Brad is the tantruming one that just doesn't want to get on that pandemic bought Peloton.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? And then there's the Weather Reporter that like reports about your life like you have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just like it rains in Seattle, you're a procrastinator. You've never been good at dating online. Like anything your head sells you that is like, give me a break. If I wrote you a really large check, you'd figure out.
There's a difference. So let me just, I just have a question. Isn't there a difference between something that you don't like versus something that you tell yourself you can't do? Those are two separate things.
Yeah, look, but if you were separating them, right? Because a lot of that, what you can't do is like, again, like fear-based, right? So I'd probably call that your chicken.
Yeah.
Right? There's like a don't wanna.
Yeah.
And then there's the can't, I never could. And you've got good reasons, right? You've got like, I never did. You're going to use your past. You're going to use your parents, like whatever you need to pull in. And it's not like those aren't legit. They're just getting you off the hook from something.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So we start like parsing your thoughts from you, keeping a thought log so you really can see, because your head isn't that unique, right? It really has about the same 5 thoughts that just resurface and sound a little different and think they're really wise.
Yeah.
And most of them aren't, because we need you to be able to gear up and counteract those voices that are them, because I'm out to go get you getting into the right actions to have those dreams you wrote in module 1 fulfilled.
Yeah.
Right? Because what you'll find out, and this is in, module whatever on personal integrity, is that most of us are really good at keeping promises to other people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right? We're not like, if I feel like it, right? You're not going to tell your kids. You'll pick them up unless I don't feel like it, right? Like, it's not that. But a promise to yourself is a whole different ballgame. Yeah. Right? I'll work out unless I have more emails, unless something else comes up. And as long as I feel badly about it, like throw in a little guilt and an excuse, I'm a good human.
I just like pat the head.
Right? Like, well, that's like we call it the good human formula.
Yeah.
Right? It just gets us out of dealing with what matters to us.
Right.
And just dealing with where we're full of shit. Right? And where we're not so sincere and mean. Well, we're just a bit lazy or chicken shit.
True. Yeah, I would agree with that for sure.
Right? And then it's not even an insult. It's a human phenomenon. Okay. Right? It's like, oh, you need to like build the muscle of personal integrity because you need to be able to keep a promise to yourself to forward that dream that you said you wanted.
Hey guys, Deanna here with Label Free Podcast. Summer is coming. Are you a six-pack kind of guy or a dad bod kind of guy? Either way, our friends at Manscaped have the fellas' hairy bodies covered. They just launched their 4th generation performance package, which includes the Lawnmower 4.0. That's right, you heard that right, 4.0. Trim from the leaders in male grooming, so the man in your life can join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code LABELFREE20. That's right, 20% off with free shipping with the code LABELFREE20. So head on over to their website, manscaped.com, and pick up something for yourself, the man in your life, whomever that might want to benefit from keeping everything nice and tight for the summer.
Awesome. So then we get you, what we teach you in an interview. It has a little promise tracker so you can start to keep it and get it into your calendar of what you said you do.
Yeah.
To forward that dream. So we get you into action.
I love that.
And how we get you to keep it. Because we're like, fuck feeling bad and guilt. Who needs that? None of us need any more of that. It's make a promise, make sure it's specific and measurable, because we could be a little sleazy about, I'll be nicer to my spouse. You're like, how do you measure that? Right? Yeah. Right? So you have to be specific.
Yeah.
And then we have you put, and this is like the kicker of the system in keeping a promise, we have you put in a consequence.
Okay.
Like a self-imposed consequence that should bug the shit out of you. Like our goal is not to punish you. Like who needs that? Our goal is to have you keep the promise.
Right.
So like, there's almost nothing I won't do for my glass of wine at night.
I love
Right?
it. Yes.
Or my like cream in my coffee, or like a TV show I'm currently obsessed with. Right?
Yeah.
Like there's like, I'm not that hard.
Yeah.
Right? So if I want it, like really, if you're like, Marnie, how'd you sell your TV show? Like how did it get to Hulu and Eva Longoria? Like how'd you actually do that from housewife to that?
Right.
And it was like, oh, I threatened my wine.
You threaten your wine?
Yeah. It's like if I didn't write for 2 hours a day or do a crazy ass bold move, like I had to do 5 a week, I lost my wine.
I like that though. That's a good like trade-off. So if you don't stick to your commitments to yourself, then how do you reward yourself for not doing what you said you were going to do?
Yeah, it's like go deal with your fucking chicken and brat and go put your like forget it. And then there were days where I like didn't write and blamed the kids, right? Yeah. And I'd have to deal with myself of missing my wine for that night because I thought I deserved it. But then you get to listen to your head, right? Your head's like, you didn't say beer, you could have a beer. Like you just start to get familiar with what your head does for a living.
Yeah, that's good.
But it really had me keep my promise. And the key is if you pay your consequence, right? Like, all right, so the next morning, no cream in your coffee, whatever. Yeah. Like whatever I'll have you keep the promise or pay the piper, you end up still proud of yourself.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Because you're like, you showed your brat, right? The brat that won that round yesterday.
Yeah.
Like got dinged by you.
Yeah.
Right. So then it just puts like all the power back in your hands versus any of this stuff and any feeling bad and any excusing that we like would rather do, but never feels like it, you never get proud of yourself if you're just busy blaming your kid for why you couldn't X and Y.
Right. Right. Yeah. I think that's very common too.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, look, we always say you're like, everyone has like, there's like 3 to 5 kept promises from being like happy. Like we're not that tricky. It doesn't take that many to keep you happy and proud. But usually the ones that would make you happiest are the ones you chuck out first.
Yes. Yep.
Right? Like if meditating or manifesting every day made you happy, like magically we're such assholes and we'll chuck it out. Right? Like I couldn't work out, right? But like you wouldn't do that to your kid or you wouldn't do that to your boss because you'll get fired. There's like a real consequence. Right. Our feeling guilty or bad or knowing we suck at X and Y isn't a consequence enough for us. The bummer is we just fuck with our dreams.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't personally, I don't have that issue after going through, after watching someone that you love and you spent your life with die, that really puts things in perspective. You start realizing how short life is and that anybody, you can go at any time. And so I was determined I wanted to get into fashion. And I was determined to do that. And I became a fashion designer. I mean, it cost me a lot of money. I didn't really make any money out of it, but I did. That was my dream. I went after it and I designed 3 collections and it was beautiful. It was a fun ride. And, I just decided at the end of it, I'd rather just buy the clothes and style myself than make them.
Yes.
But at least I did it. Most people won't even pull the trigger to get to that point, to make that happen.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, there's so much value, and at the end of it, I did feel like a little bit of a failure, but then it was just there's no such thing as failure because I tried it. There was success in making that happen. But so
it was on your list. Otherwise, you would have been talking about it forever, right? Yeah. You're like, check. It turns out it wasn't bucket. It was fuck it list.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Yeah. And you know what? I created a good brand for myself. People still remember, I really branded myself well, and I learned how to become a self-promoter. I was terrible at self-promoting. During that whole process, there were other things that came out of it that I needed to do for myself and to get comfortable with, because I was never comfortable with that. And so through going through that whole process, it really taught me a lot on how to do that 5-second elevator pitch and just really be proud of my accomplishments and not be I'm a confident, aggressive person, but there was something about that part that I never was comfortable with, but it forced me to do that. So
Awesome.
Yeah, very awesome. So what is it typically like? What is the length of coaching that a typical client goes through with you guys?
It could go anywhere from like 6 months to it could go
Yeah,
longer. It could definitely go a year. It could go, and then you're kind of on maintenance,
sure.
right? Like it depends on how quickly you want to do it, right? The work is impressive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially that first module of like, no one even knows how hard it is to write a dream, let alone, 12 of them.
Yeah.
So that's like, whoa. But it all depends, right? Like I had a story of one client that I swear I like rocked his world in one session. He was like done with me after one session,
Wow.
only because he was like a really smart guy.
Yeah.
He was like MIT professor, right? But all I did, because one of the first assignments also is we have you just write your bio.
Yeah. People have a hard time with that too.
Oh my God. Well, the fascinating part is like what you feel important for me to know.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like what's important in there that you think and that you're bringing up. So it's all a fascinating, as a writer, it's a fascinating assignment for me to read and get to play with, and then for me to show someone what I heard and what was important for you to let me know. So his entire bio was about his father. Wow. There was like this much, no shit, this much, like 3 lines at the end about himself.
But again, that comes into like the self-promoting part where people are very uncomfortable with that.
Yeah, but I was like, this is awesome. Can you see what you did? Right. Yeah. And he was like, it was really like when someone like grabs like a thread in your sweater and goes like, let me just fix that. Right? Yeah. And does a pull. It really like unraveled his, like what he was up to and what was informing his reality.
Right.
It was awesome. But so it all depends, right? It really could be rock someone's world in 6 months, or if there's like, look, ideally you get to go through every module with a coach, because some of them get deeper, right? Like here's all the basics, but then we really go into hauntings from your past and stories that linger that you're still truly haunted by, right? And, out of the gazillion shitty things that happened to us or were said to us, you're like, there's a good 10 you don't want to forget.
Yeah.
And why, right? And what are you using them for? Otherwise, they would have just gotten, flushed, right? Like if they gotten the right lesson was learned.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And there's no lie in it and there's no drama in it. And you could just tell a story. It doesn't stay there forever. It was shit that happened to you.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But if it stays and it shows up, there's work to be done there. And that's an awesome process. And it's, you could do it in an interview by yourself, but it's also awesome to do it being handheld with a coach to do it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we go through, there's a whole section on the truth about lying.
Oh boy.
Where we get you to like own all your lies, and then we don't view just a lie as an out and out lie. Like, yeah, that's one type, but what about omission? Like, what about everything you don't say?
Yeah.
Right. Or every time you exaggerate or any of that, like it's awesome. And we really do believe that the truth sets you free. And all of those are killing you. And why you can't even dream in module 1 is because you have this much of a like impression, like you're not impressed with yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Because you're walking around with some of this crap from your past that you won't let go.
Yeah. Right.
So it's really hard to like, how come you don't love yourself? How come you can't dream? You're like, oh, because you still can't get over what an asshole you were in high school. Right. Or
well, I was never a bully, but yes, I can see that. I actually got bullied, which I don't even care anymore, but I love it all. I think it's an amazing process that you guys have put together. How long has it been around for?
Since 2004.
Okay.
So my 2 sisters started Handel Group. So my sister Beth and my sister Lauren. So my older and younger are co-founded it.
Okay.
And then eventually, you know, they
You got
like pulled me.
they pulled
Pulled
you
me
in.
in, Indiana. Yeah.
What sounds like it's been a great ride for all of you. I'd
Yeah.
love to continue talk with you, but it's about time for us to wrap things up. Can you please plug the links for people can find you, reach out to you if they're interested in using your service, you know, for coaching?
Yeah. There's on the show notes. They'll be to the current reality quiz. So it's a quiz I developed that'll give you like a quick, easy way to kind of get, you know, whether you're a 9 or 10 in your life and what areas need some work.
Okay.
So there's a current reality quiz. You could find us and follow us on, you know, at Handel Group.
Yes.
On Instagram or handelgroup.com.
Awesome.
So that CRQ quiz will have you start playing in it, and you could always find inneryou.coach and start looking about the program that you could do at your own pace by yourself, called Inner You. And the awesome part about Inner You, besides that it's the everything my sister ever developed all in one at your own pace in your bed, right, is it comes with a free masterclass. Okay. Which is a group call to kind of help you, you know, answer your questions and walk you through the first couple modules so you don't have to do it alone, right, and buddy you up with somebody. And it also comes with one free private coaching session.
Awesome.
Yes, and it's all for $425 or something. It's like ridiculous.
Very cool. Well, I'll put all
because we really want to make a difference for people.
Yeah.
Please let us help.
Yeah, for sure. And it sounds like a really great process. I mean, geez, I think it sounds really thorough. Like if someone follows through with it and they learned how to adapt or adopt those practices, they're going to go really far. And it's really, and it's a lifelong journey, right? Because, you know, that little man likes to talk shit, like no matter what, no matter how much work you do on yourself, it always likes to creep up and like,
does not shut. The next thing you're scared of, it's going to natter.
Yes. Yeah.
And then if you're up to big things, it's going to natter, right? Oh. And we want you up to big things. You just have to learn how to tell it to shut the fuck up.
Oh man, when I started this podcast, I was like, who the fuck do I think I am? And I heard all of the negative shit in my head.
Completely.
All of it. And I still do. I still get a little nervous. Like because I've talked to some celebrities and I'm like, holy shit. Like this is
it definitely was. Your head does not want you risking shit.
Right.
Right. It really has like decent intentions. It just doesn't care about your happiness, self-confidence, or pride.
Or what you are capable of. Or what
it doesn't care. It wants you back in bed watching Netflix.
I love it. Oh my God. You're awesome. We'll have to have you come back for a follow-up, but I will put all the links in the description of the episode in the show notes. Thank you, Marnie, so much for being with me today.
Anytime.
It's been a blast, even though the dogs, you should see my floor in front of me.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. I'm going on vacation tomorrow, so they're in for a rude awakening. They're not going to be able to do this when I'm gone, but
that's right.
You guys, this is your host, Deanna Kemple of Label Free Podcast. Live your best life. You must live label free. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, follow, all that good stuff. And I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.